Hey guys, welcome to Puddin's Kitchen. My name is Toyin. Today we're going to be making a puddin style cast iron steak. Super easy, amazing flavor. Today we're going to be working with some ribeye steaks. If you've never had a ribeye steak before, or if you're struggling to cook steak, the most important thing is to look for marbleization. You want to see that there's some fat marbleized in between the meat. So it's not just complete red, you've got some white fat in there. And the reason why is because when that cooks, the fat starts to melt into the meat and it makes it very juicy. And even if you want it medium well, it'll still be nice and juicy. So look for a lot of marbleization in your meat. And also spring for a grass-fed beef. If you can do it, do it. Like, it just tastes a million times better. It's better for you as well. So today what we got here is two ribeye steaks. We're also going to add some rosemary, some baby portobello mushrooms. You can use white mushrooms as well. It's not a big deal. We've got about half of a small onion. We have some peppers. You know I like everything spicy, so I'm always going to add peppers to everything. Please omit if you do not like spicy. It's not necessary at all. I've got about a 1/4 cup of red wine right here, a little bit of light olive oil, or you can use a vegetable oil, and some salt here. I also roasted some garlic right here. Roasted garlic is a way to punch up flavor in any dish. So all you have to do is take a whole clove of garlic, cut it in half, douse it with a whole bunch of oil, wrap it in foil, and put it into your oven on about 450, 475 for about 30 minutes, not even 30 minutes. Once you start to smell that really strong garlic smell, go ahead and take it out. Your garlic will ooze out and you have nice roasted garlic that you can use for basically anything, and it adds a lot of flavor to everything. All right, so first what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our oil and we're just going to brush it. If you don't have a brush, you don't have to use a brush. You can just totally use your hands. And we're gonna brush both of these on both sides with our oil. You want to make sure that you don't use an oil that has a low smoke point, meaning that it's an oil that burns fast. Because if that happens, then you know you're gonna the burnt oil flavor is gonna get into your meat, and you don't want that. So use something like a vegetable oil or anything that has a high smoke point. All right. Now, as you notice, we're not putting any black pepper on our steak just yet. We're just gonna put some salt on this. And the reason why is because we also don't want to burn our black pepper. Our black pepper has a nice flavor, and we can put that on right after we are done searing this steak. So we're gonna flip that over again on both sides and kind of be pretty generous with the salt. If you're on a low sodium diet, dial back the salt for sure. All right. All right, guys, so that's it. We're gonna get our skillet hot, and we're using a cast iron skillet. We're gonna get our skillet hot, and then we're gonna put these steaks on a really nice hot skillet and get it going, and then we're gonna throw in our vegetables later. I'll see you over at the stove. All right, guys, so here we are. We have seasoned our steaks with oil and salt. And as soon as you get those steaks salted, you want to put those into your hot pan as soon as possible, because what's going to happen is all the moisture is going to draw from those steaks, and all that moisture that you want to keep into the steaks to keep them nice and juicy is going to come out. So that's what salt does, right? So you're going to want to get those into the pan as soon as possible. So also look for, when you're heating your pan, make sure that you have the olive oil wherever, or light oil in there, whatever kind of oil you want to use that has a higher smoke point. You want to make sure that you have that pan on very high, and you want to see a little bit of a white smoke rising from your pan before you add your steaks into the pan. The reason being is you want this pan as hot as it possibly can get, so that you create a nice crust on your steak, so that all of those juices stay inside of your steak. So right now I see a little bit of a smoke going on. If my alarm goes off, guys, my fire alarm, just bear with me here, okay? So first what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull off some of this rosemary, like I said, and put that in here. Give it some flavor up our oil. And then I'm gonna put my peppers on the side here as well. And we're just going to put our steaks into the pan. And like I said, I know the urge is to definitely check those steaks right now and see what's going on. But we're just gonna let those cook about 2 minutes. This steak right here is about 1 inch, so it's about I would say more around 3 minutes. This one is looking more like about 1/2 inch, so about 2 minutes for that one. We're just gonna let that grill really nicely on one side, get those beautiful grill marks and hold in all that moisture, and then we are going to flip them over. All right, guys, so we're ready to check this steak here. It's been a couple minutes. Ooh, wow, we've got a nice crust there. We're going to go ahead and flip it. That's perfect. Oh, my goodness. Wonderful. Now, you want that nice crust because, like I said, look how we don't have much in the way of sauce. That means that we've really retained all of the moisture inside of the steak. Very important for a nice, juicy steak. Let's see what's going on here. Look at that fire. That's perfect. That's exactly what you want. A little bit of action inside of the home kitchen. Flip over your peppers as well if you're following my style, my spicy style. If not, flip over whatever vegetables you got going on in here. All right? And then we're going to give that another, I would say, 1.5 minutes or so. And then we're going to take those off and let them rest. All right, guys, so we took our steaks off. We were very patient and we waited our good 2 to 3 minutes so we can make sure that we got a nice crust on our steak so that all of our juices could be retained. Now, I know that the temptation is to cut into that steak as soon as it's off of the skillet, but you're gonna wanna let that rest. So here's something to do in that time while it's resting. Go ahead and make yourself a nice pan sauce. Now you have a little bit of drippings from the steak in your pan already. So you don't want to use a new pan. You want to use the exact same pan. You're going to take those onions that we talked about earlier and you're just going to put those into the pan. Also those mushrooms. If you need a little bit extra oil, you can go ahead and add that as well. All right, drizzle that in, not too much, just a little bit. You're going to want to add some salt to give it some flavor. Although there was some salt already inside of or on top of the steak, you might want to add a little bit of salt just to add a little bit more flavor. But what's going to happen here is your onions and your mushrooms are going to pick up all the flavor that's left behind from that steak, and it's going to add make a nice, really nice pan sauce for your steak. And really at this point, I think the most important thing here is using onions. Onions are amazing and they are the foundation to really any good meal. Like I put them in everything. So if you don't like onions, I'm so sorry for you. Onions are amazing. They're really in everything and they make everything taste better. So we're just gonna move these around. We still have a little bit of our rosemary in here too, and that's picking that up. Let that cook down for a while. I'm going to turn this all the way up. Because this is a fast meal. This is something that you want to eat quickly. It's not something that you want to be cooking for hours. So it's just kind of like throw it in the pan. Throw your steaks in the pan on a really high heat. Throw your vegetables in the pan right after that. And as soon as everything is nice and tender, then food is ready. Dinner's ready to go. All right, we're going to keep on moving this around. And once I feel like the vegetables are slightly soft, I'm going to add some red wine. So if you're sipping on a glass of red wine while you're making this steak, literally just pour the other half of that glass into this pan and you've got a really amazing mushroom pan sauce from your steak. And it makes you feel fancy because whenever you're cooking with wine, I don't know about you, but I definitely feel fancier. So I like cooking with wine, and it gives me a reason to have a glass of wine while I'm cooking. All right, so look at our vegetables. They're beautiful. They're brown. They're cooking down very quickly, and this is the fun part. So we're going to add some red wine. And it should sizzle. It should get a lot of heat. And what happens here is that liquid picks up all of the little bits of meat and flavor that are on your pan. So you just want to move it around as much as possible. Add a little bit of salt as needed. is also a great time to add a little bit of butter. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to get out of my shot a little bit, but reach for the butter. Just going to cut in about a tablespoon of butter right at the end, and it makes it taste amazing, guys. This is that Ruth Chris flavor that everybody wants. You guys think that it's so amazing what they're doing? It's just butter. That's all it is. Butter makes everything better. Alright, so now we have our beautiful pan sauce. I am going to plate this up for you guys and give it a try, so you guys will see my reaction to it, but I already know it's going to be good. Hey guys, so we're finished with Puddin's classic skillet style ribeye steak. So I'm just going to give this a taste now. So as you can see, this is a nice crusty outer layer, and that holds in a lot of the moisture. Like I said, you're going to want to wait until you cut this steak, until it rests like a few minutes, because you don't want all the juices to run out. But I'm going to give this so amazingly moist. I'm going to give this a try right now. And we did a medium steak, so it's about 145 is the temperature there. I'm going to try it with some of this mixture here. This topping, I added the roasted garlic to it as well. All right. That steak is outstanding, guys. It's completely juicy. All of the juices have been retained in the steak, which is amazing. The flavor is simple but great. Like I said, definitely use a grass-fed steak. It makes all of the difference. And pop that butter into that sauce at the last minute to give it that creamy Ruth Chris Morton Steakhouse flavor. And also use the roasted garlic if you can. Like I said, if you want a little bit of spice, you're going to want to add a little bit of these hot peppers to it. But this is so good, I'm probably going to have to leave y'all right now. So